I just want to be honest, and I want to make content that speaks to me. I am in a very fucking weird situation right now. I am in London and my family's not happy with me. And I'm queer and I'm speaking on it. And I never thought that those sentences would be all together. Sometimes it don't make no sense. Hi, welcome to mayowasworld. All right, you guys, I hope this microphone sounds good. I haven't made a video in a long time, nor have I felt any desire to really create anything, but I really just want to get certain things off my chest. So this is kind of like a get ready with me because I'm gonna put oil on my skin and just like update you guys. I don't know if this is gonna go on my Patreon or if this is gonna go on my YouTube or both, but I'm just like in a very transitional time. So if any of you guys follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, do it. I got kicked out of my house and I am now in London. I am staying with my partner and I feel like no desire to make the content that I was like loving to make. So before I left, before my whole situation, I was really enjoying making colorism content, doing research on that, and yeah, just like topics that were like very, very hits hard. But now I feel like I'm still processing a lot of things that have happened over like a short period of time. So I'm trying to give myself a break. One thing that I've been doing in my life, maybe recently, maybe the past like year, let me not say a year, but like, I don't know, I've just been doing this, was that if I don't feel like I can create, I just don't. Because usually when I look back on the times where I don't feel like I want to create, I'm just like, yo, like, good. I understand why I didn't want to create, and I think it's good to give space, because that space kind of creates room for newness. But what I am like really interested in talking about, what I do, like the only thing that's like super fascinating to me and super interesting to me is discussing things about love. I'm really into love. I'm really into queer love, queer relationships, black and being queer. And that's not really something I've like openly stated on my YouTube channel, but I think if you follow me on Instagram, you know. But if you didn't know, now you know. I always wanted to do like a super cool, like, I'm queer, like, you know, with like balloons and like in a really fabulous moment. But due to a lot of circumstances that I really didn't see coming my way, here we are. I really want to talk a lot about that because it's been something that I've been like really thinking about, especially being here in London, because I'm with my partner and they're black and they're non-binary and they're queer like me. And the way that we are treated when we navigate spaces together is something that's like very interesting, and I really want to like dissect. The reason I say, let me stop using words like interesting. It's like intense, okay? Because when we go places, I feel like there's this like shame that you feel from African people, because I'm in London, so people here are either, for the most part, either African or Caribbean. And so there's this shame that you feel being with another black person, holding hands with someone, and you feel this shame, this like parental shame of like, you shouldn't be doing this. And this emotion I'm very fascinated by, because I feel like if I was with a white person, then I would seem more othered. Like it would, like I wouldn't, because I think it's obvious that I'm African and it's obvious my partner is African or of African descent. Then I think that like the way that we get treated is like a lot more volatile, and it comes from so many different sides. Like we were walking down the street and somebody was saying things in patois, and it was just really offensive. And it's just like very interesting because I know how I get treated in this world, and being with someone who also has similar intersections and navigating this world just feels like I'm pushing against like a heavy wind. And coming from a household where I wasn't allowed to be myself and express my queerness and say it and be kind of just very just honest, to like having such trauma from that to coming to the UK and being very excited to then being having homophobic slurs like screamed at me from cars. It's been tough, and it's been feeling like I haven't really been able to kind of like, I've been trying to process the things that happened prior to me getting kicked out, but it's like this really interesting dynamic where I feel like a lot of the things I am focused on is my queerness. Like that is just something that is all around me. And I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about just letting down your family, and like one of those things that I feel like when you're queer, like you try very hard to do everything perfect. You try really hard to be a perfect daughter, a perfect friend, because you know it's kind of like, oh, I'm queer, but like I do these other things really well, and like my sexuality doesn't define me, and like you want to show that you have all these other aspects about you that are great, almost in spite of the thing that you know most people don't like. And I feel like I got to a point where I was trying to do that, and getting out of bed every day just felt so heavy. It felt so heavy not be able to speak about the things I want to speak about. It felt so heavy not be able to talk the way I want to talk and mention that I'm in love with another person, mention that I'm queer. I can't speak on these things. It's like people are okay with just like knowing it, but they don't want to like get into detail. It's like, you know, keep your business to yourself and don't speak. But then I have to hear every other heterosexual boring relationship topics and hear people talk about the problem with this guy or that guy, and I can't speak from my experiences because I'm African and I'm queer. Acting like this is like a new thing when this is like centuries and centuries and hundreds of years people have been just like me, but somehow I'm erased from history and I can't speak on my thing, and I should have shame and I shouldn't be like proud and saying how I feel, and I'm exhausted. And I feel like so much of my channel and so much of who I am, so much of how I've gotten to be who I've been has been from speaking my truths even when it is not popular, even when people don't agree with me. But I just want to be honest with who I am. I want to be honest with who I love. I want to be honest with what I center, because there's no reason that I should be able to hear everyone else talk about things they like and I can't speak on it. And you know what, to be honest, I feel like with my channel, like because I talk so much about like embracing yourself and body hair and colorism and all these issues that are very political, I was very scared of letting my sexuality be known, because I didn't want people to like be like, oh, see, look, she's queer, like that's why she's doing these things. Like I was afraid of people thinking that I'm acting out of spite of men. And you realize how much like everything is like surrounding and centers men. Like even within like my own queerness and having discussions with family members and being like, I'm queer, and it's almost like they don't believe, like they're like, well, you dated guys, so like how are you queer now? And it's like, why is it that when I've dated a guy and I say what I am now, like you feel like I can't change, right? Or I wasn't even really being my full self. Like, why is everything always in proximity to men? Like, I don't make content in proximity to men. I make content on my truth. I'm so tired of everything always kind of centering back to guys and back to that. And I'm just like, you know, I was afraid of saying like, oh, don't shave your body hair, and then someone being like, oh, you know, but she's gay and like she's queer and like she's only doing it because like, you know, that's like it's a pushing an agenda. And I was so afraid of these things, and these things just keep you so trapped. Like I remember when I was like identifying as like hetero and I was like into feminism, but I was afraid of being like too much of a feminist because I didn't want to be unattractive to guys, and I really shrunk myself because I wanted to be, you know, I didn't want to be too much. Like, it's like, I felt like when I was like into the things I was into, I was like kind of pulling myself back because I didn't want to be too much. Fuck a too much. Fuck a too much. Fuck a too much. And I'm still like a bit clunky with like how I'm talking about these issues. Like I still feel like I have a lot I want to say, and I'm like, it's a lot going on in my mind, but I'm so tired of being scared. For what? What has that gotten me? I tried so hard to be like a good daughter and a good woman and a good person, but for other people's standards. I feel like I've watched everyone else live their life and be so happy and be who they are, and I shrink myself to make people comfortable. And no, I've lost too much doing this. For who? For what? I'm tired. Like, I just want to be honest, and I want to make content that speaks to me. I am in a very fucking weird situation right now. I am in London and my family's not happy with me. and I'm queer, and I'm speaking on it. And I never thought that those sentences would be all together. I never thought I would be kicked out. I never thought all these things would be, a whole thing, but it is. And I tried so hard to never, like, I feel like I could tell the boat was moving, but I just like was trying to, I'm talking metaphorically speaking of like rocking the boat, but I just was trying really hard to like not tip it over. But I think I always knew it was gonna tip over, and it tipped over, and here I am. And I don't know what's next. I don't know what kind of content I'm gonna make. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. I don't know a lot of things. I just do know that I have a lot of, oops, oh my goodness. A plant fell, but I thought the plant fell, it didn't fall. But I just know that I have a lot of passion for certain things. I want to flow in certain ways. I'm a mess. I don't know if this makes any sense. I don't know if this is going together, but yeah, that's where I'm at. My nails are cute. Didn't get the attention it deserved because I wasn't making content. But also, I am considering making my Patreon, like changing the tiers, but still applying the same things to all the tiers. Because I have a tier for $7.77, and I'm thinking about making a tier for $3.33, and then also for $11.11, and also for like $22.22, and people can just give what they want, because I wanna make more content on Patreon, and I want to make more content in general, and sometimes I feel guilt because I'm not making what I should be making, and voila. But if you want to join, but thanks for watching. Have a good day. Cheers.